Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new video. This week is actually a very special week in the Star Wars universe because it is the season premiere of Star Wars: The Acolytes that just aired earlier this week. So what better way to celebrate a brand new Star Wars TV series with an official LEGO Star Wars review? So without further ado, let's get into it right away. And like always, quick disclaimer before I do go on to this video is not sponsored by LEGO and all opinions are of my own. And like always, if you do go on to enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know down below in the comments, are you guys excited for the new Star Wars TV series? Alright, with all that being said, let's jump into the LEGO TIE Bomber official review. Alright, before we get into building this set, let's actually talk about the set itself. This is set number 75347, the TIE Bomber, as part of the Star Wars themed LEGO sets. Its target age is for 9 and up and was released back on January 1st, 2023 as part of the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. And it contains 625 pieces. It retails for $84.99 Canadian, $64.99 USD, and $64.99 euros. Which comes out to about a price per brick of 14 cents per brick, which is about the average price for Star Wars sets. And then finally, the size of the ship itself is 20 centimeters long, 17 centimeters wide, and about 11 centimeters high. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and build the set itself. Alright, now that we've built this set itself, let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit in details. So this set took me about an hour and 15 to complete. I was actually really enjoying it, and I realized that I actually blew by this pretty quickly, which was kind of interesting. I think on my other sets that are normally like 250 pieces, it was taking me about 45 to 55 minutes. So the fact that I tripled the amount of pieces and only did it in an extra 30 minutes, definitely interesting. But no, definitely a really fun build. The build itself comes with 4 bags, and what's really cool is that there's 0 stickers. There's actually, I think if I counted correctly, there's 7 printed pieces, and they all range from like 1x1 studs to like the cockpit itself, similar to what you would have seen on Yoda's Jedi Starfighter. But I was definitely very surprised by this because I felt like that there was a lot of pieces that could have just been stickers, but they actually had 0 stickers and ended up printing all the pieces, which was definitely really cool. It does come with 1 booklet that's about 105 pages long. Something that I absolutely love about these Star Wars sets that are for ages 9 and up is that they actually have like a character, like, or the main character of that box itself actually follow you along with the instructions. So you'll notice that like as you start from the first page, the Darth Vader is at the very left corner of the page, and then as you approach the middle to the end, Darth Vader kind of like walks through the steps with you all the way to the end. So definitely a big fan about that. I've mentioned that in pretty much the last 2 Star Wars builds that I've done, so this is definitely a really cool subtle detail that I always do like to see. As you can see on the screen, there was about 18 extra pieces. They give you extra of those bullets, which makes sense because I was playing around with it and I actually ended up losing like 2 of them, and then I just found them like the day after when actually recording this video, because I'm recording this video a day after I actually built the set itself. Breaking down each bag, the first bag you start by building the actual, like the first half of the hull itself of the ship. You do get to build 2 of the characters, which is Darth Vader and Vice Admiral Sloane, which we will talk about later on. In bag 2, you just kind of finish up the main hull of the ship. Bag 3 is where you go in and actually build the bomber pilot as well as the gonk droid, and you get to add on the first part of the wings for the ship itself. And finally, in bag 4, you actually finish up the wings by adding on like their end pieces, as well as add the bomber card, or like that reload card. Overall, it was actually pretty fun to build. I generally enjoyed it. It was pretty straightforward. One thing, this is just me being picky, what I do like to see is because it was 4 characters, and I'm calling the gonk droid as a minifigure character, I would have thought they would have done like 1 bag, you get a character. I'm surprised they just did bag 1 and bag 3, but just a little side note I saw, I've seen some of the other sets like the Obi-Wan Kenobi set where you did basically bag 1, 2, and 3 each had a minifigure. And for when you're building these for like the ages 9 and up, and there's probably a lot of younger kids that are building these sets, I don't know, I find those little details of just having a minifigure in each bag, it gets you more excited to see what's next and actually wants you to finish the set. It's not a negative note, it's just an additional comment I have. So now that we've learned a little bit about building the set itself, let's talk a little bit about some background information. Like, where exactly do these TIE bombers come from? So the TIE bombers are actually part of the fighter series fleet, which was part of the Galactic Empire. So people who are not maybe familiar with the Galactic Empire, just think basically episodes like 4 to 6. They predominantly made like TIE bombers and TIE fighters and different variations to the TIE fighter. I don't remember all the details of it, so if someone in the comments can correct me on that, but I think there was 2 versions of the TIE fighter and 1 version of the bomber. So if I get that wrong, just let me know down below in the comments. But basically, a very notable scene for this one is actually in episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, where you can actually see the TIE bombers, I think for the very first time on screen. I did read that they were supposed to appear in Return of the Jedi in episode 6, but however, apparently there was budget cuts and that's why we don't actually see them. I did look this up, so again, if I did make a mistake on this one as well, I even rewatched the video like a few weeks ago and I don't remember seeing them. So they show the TIE fighters, but they don't actually show the TIE bombers, but apparently due to budget cuts, that's why they didn't actually appear in episode 6, but they were actually supposed to be there. And if you actually read the books, the TIE bombers are actually there as well. In the more recent times where you do see this, the TIE bombers is actually in an episode of Star Wars Rebels, as well as in the Book of Boba Fett, where they actually talk about the purge of Mandalore. So the TIE bombers were actually a big part in actually purging the surface of Mandalore. And then finally, we actually do see them more recently. I think it would have been last year when Mandalorian season 3 came out, and they actually go back to Mandalore at Moff Gideon's base. They do have a base of TIE fighters as well as TIE bombers. So in summary, the TIE bomber is a very iconic ship. It's maybe not as known as the TIE oh, that's what it's called. So there's the TIE fighters and the TIE interceptors, as well as the TIE bombers. I forgot what the third name was, but there it is. So yeah, that's a little bit of background information. Let's actually jump in and talk about these minifigures, because I am super excited about doing that right now. Jumping right into the minifigures, this set comes with 4 distinct minifigures, and yes, I am counting the Gonk droid as a minifigure. Today we're considering a minifigure. He's been promoted. So we'll start with the first one, which is Vice Admiral Sloane. She's actually featured on the 1-to-1 scale on the side of the box. What's interesting about this one is that, just based off my research, again, she doesn't actually appear in the original trilogy. She's definitely an appearance in the books, and actually when the First Order does happen later on, I think 7, 8, 9, in the books, she actually becomes Admiral Sloane. So in the Galactic Empire, she's kind of working her way up. She's known for appearing in a lot of great battles throughout the Galactic Empire, but she doesn't actually have an appearance in the movie itself, which is definitely interesting, because I was surprised that they put her in this set. But I think the reason why is because technically in the books, she is a presence, even though she may not be part of the movie itself. She is included in this set. Overall, she is a unique character. This is the only time we actually see her in Legos. So this is one of the 3 unique characters in this set. There are 4 unique characters. One other detail to add for Vice Admiral Sloane as well, I did enjoy the fact that the uniform that she wears is very similar to the Galactic Empire one. I didn't see anything that looked off. I think they did a very good job, kept it simple. Looks exactly like a Galactic Empire suit, so definitely a very good job there as well. The next one is the Imperial TIE Bomber pilot. This is another unique character. I do like the pants, the torso printings on this one as well. The one thing I wasn't a big fan about is I don't like the fact that you can see the back of his head. I feel like they should have added either an additional piece that the helmet covers completely. Like, I know in some of the old TIE Bomber pilots, they would use a black head so that you would actually see, it's kind of like his whole head is covered. I don't like the fact that you actually see the head itself, because I do know that these are technically like, they're supposed to be like spacesuits in some way, so it should be covered completely. It just looks a little bit off, but other than that, I think it's still pretty straightforward. They don't really make that many changes between the TIE Bomber pilots, but just one little detail I noticed I wasn't really a big fan of. The next up is the Gonk droid itself. This is considered a minifigure in my perspective, and also apparently as well with Lego. This is a new minifigure as well. What's interesting about this droid is that they're not sticker printing. They're not stickers, they're actual printings on the body itself. I think it's pretty accurate. What I do like the fact is when you build the droid itself, you actually angle the feet outwards, similar to how they walk in the movies itself. So it might not have the same like the same joints as it does in the movie, but it does kind of wobble, if it makes sense, when you build it. If like once you build it, you kind of think about it wobbling. So I definitely think they did a pretty good job at this one. Would have been absolutely hilarious if they had a sound brick in there. I know it'd be way too big of a Gonk droid, but would have been funny if it also made the noises too when it walked. So yeah, basically Vice Admiral Sloane, the Imperial's TIE Bomber, and the Gonk droid were all unique characters. And then the Darth Vader character is actually a repeat character, but it's actually the same character that you see that's featured in the Emperor's throne room, as well as Boarding of the Tantive 4. So it's a newer version of Darth Vader. What I think they did a really good job on for this one is obviously there's 2 pieces to the helmet. I love that idea. I think it looks amazing, and I think it really it works perfectly with the movie, because if you think of it in the movie, he does have kind of like that front piece, and then you were to take off his helmet, and then that's basically like, it's kind of like two pieces combined into one. So I think they did a really good job there. What I really also enjoyed is the fact that they finally added a printing onto the shoulder pieces, so you can actually see more of like an armor on his arms as well. It's not just the armor like on his chest and his legs, or like the mechanical suit that he has. They extended out onto the arms as well. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time they've done that, because in the previous version it used to just be black arms as well. Now we've talked about the minifigures, the box artwork, a little bit of background information. Now let's go ahead and give the official AJL Bricks rating. So this is my favorite part of doing these in-depth reviews. This is the official AJL Bricks rating. So if you don't remember how this works, basically I have 6 categories. Each category is worth 10 points, and we're gonna go through each individual category and give our overall rate and then a final score at the end. So the first category we're gonna start off with is the box artwork. So in my opinion though, I think there was a bit of a hit or miss with the box artwork. We'll start with the good part of the box and we'll move on to the bad side in my opinion. So I think the back of the box was actually very well done, because this is a TIE bomber and you also get kind of like a reload cart that goes with it. I like the fact that they chose to be inside probably one of the Imperial starships, and then basically like the bomber comes back to base, gets reloaded with new bombs, and then can fly back out again. And in addition to that, you kind of have Vice Admiral Sloan down there talking to maybe Darth Vader, so it kind of created like a nice scene. Like I also like that they show the mechanics on the back of the box, so it's opening the cockpit, for example, to put Darth Vader or the TIE bomber pilot in, or even Admiral Sloan if you wanted to, how to release the actual bombs itself, so you can use that playability function, right? And then obviously you can see like the laser guns at the front. They don't show you how to use them, but you know that they're there to actually be able to be played with. So in my opinion, I think they did a really good job on that part of the box. But the part I don't like is actually on the front of the box itself. Like obviously this is a TIE bomber ship, but I feel like they did not do a good job with the artwork on the back. Like I like to use the example from Obi-Wan, where they did a very good job of capturing the Kaminoan island itself, and you can go check out that video actually if you're curious. I'll leave a card up above to just check out how they did that box artwork compared to this one. But my opinion is like, I feel like they really lacked on the background. It's basically just like a black background. I know that they're bombing one of the planets. I think it's in episode 5 or 6, or I remember seeing that scene or something, but it just felt like very low budget artwork, especially when you put more detail and actually creating a scene on the back. Like I understand that it's for Return of the Jedi and you're trying to tailor this more towards episodes 4, 5, and 6, but honestly, like if they put this for them purging Mandalore, it would have been so much nicer to look at. And I just feel like they didn't really utilize the front of the boxes. It wasn't as eye-catching to me. I actually was the back of the box that was more interesting to me than the front of the box. So overall, I'll give this thing a 6 out of 10. Category number 2 actually is going to be the minifigures themselves. I think they did an awesome job. I don't actually have any comments on them. I think they printed them very well. They're very accurate to what you see in the movies, especially Vice Admiral Throne. I love the Gonk droid. The TIE bombers were very well done. Even though I had that little comment about the helmet, I think just in general, like I didn't have really any issues with it. I felt like they printed it enough, like all the pieces enough. I feel like there was enough printings on them, which is important. And then last but not least, I think Darth Vader was very well done. I love the fact that on the back of its head, you actually got to see a little bit of the scar tissue. So it wasn't just like front of his face, you actually got to see it on the back itself. That being said though, I'm going to give the minifigures a 10 out of 10 rating for this one. Moving on to the third category, we got the build experience. So for me, I look at things like, was this thing repeated too much? Did I enjoy this build? Was it too long, too short, whatever it may be? I think it was actually a perfect amount of time. I think I just got into the rhythm of building it and I was able to actually just do it in like an hour and 15 minutes, which felt pretty fast to me, but I still enjoyed it. It wasn't actually that repetitive, even though there's kind of like two like sides of the wing. I thought that was gonna be the exact same build and you just multiply it by 2, but I was actually like building the piece itself. There was a lot of different steps. They used a lot of like that snot brick techniques and stuff, which we'll talk about later on. So I think overall the build experience was actually pretty fun. I did this on a Saturday afternoon. It was really great to do and I generally enjoyed it a lot. So I would give this one a 9 out of 10 rating for that build experience. Moving on to the fourth category, we have the durability. This one's a little bit of a weird one, and this is where I'm pretty strict on the durability, especially when I just built 2 Jedi Starfighters that were pretty good. My issue with this one is like the landing gear piece. I didn't like the way that they designed that one. I feel like they should have actually like embedded it into the ship itself, because I picked this thing up like 3 times and I like would easily knock the landing gear right off. Everything else is pretty sturdy. Like the wings are sturdy, like the structure of it is good itself. I just feel like there was like that one loose piece that could have been done a little bit differently in my opinion. I feel like they could have embedded that landing gear a little bit better in some way. I know they're trying to make it like movie accurate, but that one was a little bit odd to me. I think firing the guns is very easy to do. Dropping the bombs, you don't actually have to require a lot of effort. You can literally just touch the top of them and the bombs fall out right away. way, which is definitely very cool. So overall, that was my only critique on it, and that's why I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10, because you're going to be playing with this build, and I know for a fact that people are going to accidentally bump that landing gear right off, which will be a little bit annoying because you're probably going to lose it or step on it or anything like that, especially compared to the Jedi Starfighters. Moving on to the 5th category, we got design accuracy, and like honestly, I was like blown away about how accurate this was. My only comment was like near the wings, as you go from the cockpit towards the wings, it could have been a little bit more narrow, but that's just me being very critical about this. I think in general they did a really good job. Like the size looks about right, like even the scale, like putting a minifigure next to it, comparing it to what a stormtrooper minifigure would look like, I think they actually did a very good job in the end, and I was very impressed by this. That's what I'm saying. Like my only comment was more so just it could have been narrowed a little bit. Definitely impressed by it. That's all I'm going to say. So this one for design accuracy is going to get a 9 out of 10 rating. And then the final category, we've got design creativity. Now this is where when I'm building it, I'm looking for different types of techniques used. I want to see something that's different that actually was pretty enjoyable. For me, it was the snot technique. I love the fact that this was used in order to properly like build the outside of the hull. So you kind of build the inside with like snot bricks all the way around, and then on the outside you're applying kind of like the more tiled rounded pieces, and that kind of gives it that like sleek design you're looking for. I do like the fact that on the wings though, even though you still see the studs, and I know in the real version it's a sleek design, I like the fact that we're just using one plate. We're not layering those plates anymore, because I think you got to keep it as thin as possible, and I think that was a very well done job. I also like the fact that the wings itself are very sturdy. There's like 4 connections on each wing so that they're not going to fall off, and even when you connect the wings to the hull itself, there's like 3 Technic pins. So it was a very good and sturdy design, and that's kind of what I was saying before in durability. Like other than the landing gear, which I was not a fan about at all, like I think overall the build was pretty well done. So I think they captured everything properly. I think the designers did a very good job for this. I think it's perfect for playability, which we're going to talk about shortly, but overall for design creativity, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. And so then, and finally in the end, that gives us a final score of 50 out of 60, which comes out to about an 83%. I think this could have easily been a better build. I think the box artwork in this case kind of let it down in the end, and I know that's maybe be critical because like obviously we're building this set, who cares about the box artwork, but that's the whole point of this review. We're looking at the whole thing, the presentation from start to finish. I definitely think that this is a very good set to build. I definitely think it's worth the 50 out of 60 score. And finally, we move on to the last part of our in-depth review video. This is the verdict. This is where I ask myself the final 3 questions about this set. So the first part is, what was my favorite part about this set? I have to say for this one, it was definitely the minifigures. I think that they did a really good job at building them. I didn't have any issues with them. I really enjoyed them. I love that Darth Vader minifigure. I think it's only like the 2nd Darth Vader minifigure I have. So to see the change from what it used to be like 10, 15 years ago to what it is now is definitely very refreshing. I think they did an amazing job with all of the minifigures. Like I said, I didn't really have any issues with them whatsoever, so it's something that I was definitely a big fan of. But that being said though, I think the build itself was a lot of fun. Again, these like Jedi Starfighters / TIE Bombers, like these 9 and up age sets where they're like, in this case, under 700 piece sets, are really a lot of fun to build, and they're coming at a pretty affordable price because you're not having to go out and spend like $300-400. You can go ahead and actually just buy them at, like in this case, this was an $85 one. I think being able to actually build these sets at a relatively affordable price and still be able to have that nostalgia feeling of building Lego Star Wars is awesome. So overall, like, yeah, the minifigures were great, but also just having fun building the set was also definitely my favorite part about it as well. The second question is, what would I change about this set? Like I said, there's really not that much I would change other than just how they made the landing gear. I felt like that they definitely lazied out on it, and you can tell because it's basically you build like this one little extension piece and you slap it onto the bottom, and honestly, just like setting up the TIE Bomber, I would knock that thing off like multiple times. So I definitely think that they could have just added a little bit more like restrictions on that landing piece so you couldn't just easily pop it out. But other than that, I don't really have anything else I really would change. I thought they did a pretty good job about it. I love the fact that it's all printed pieces. There was no stickers. Definitely a big ups to Lego about that one, especially if you're spending, you know, the $85 Canadian to buy this set. Having no stickers is great because obviously printed tile pieces always look better than a sticker itself. And then finally, is this set worth buying in 2024? Like honestly, for $85, yes. I think all of these 9 and up age sets are really fun. And I think if you're an adult who wants to build Lego, but you don't really want to go out and spend $900 for the Millennium Falcon, $1,000 for the AT-AT or whatever, and then there's like even like the new like Lord of the Rings sets. There's like so many of these really massive sets that are like $500, $600, $700, $800 sets. go buy these 9 and up age sets. I'm telling you this right now, like they're actually a lot of fun. They're affordable. You're spending $20-$30, but then you get to actually create something that you genuinely enjoy. So I would really recommend buying these. Like I said, I've done 2 other videos and I'll leave some cards up top about them, and you can also check out the official playlist for all these in-depth reviews. But go ahead and watch them, because I did the Lego Obi-Wan Kenobi Starfighter, I did the Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, again under $30 builds, and they're a ton of fun. You get awesome minifigures similar to this one as well. You get a Darth Vader minifigure, you get like a really fun set, and it's a big piece itself, you know. Like this is a nice piece. It's a nice firm build. Like you're gonna enjoy it. Like I definitely did it as well, and I would definitely recommend going out and buying this if you're looking for a fun Lego set to build. I know this is not about the other 2 sets. I would go ahead and buy any of those Jedi Starfighters. I'd go ahead and buy this Lego TIE Bomber set. You're definitely going to enjoy it. It was a lot of fun, very accurate to what you see in the movies, and I'm still very impressed by it in the end. So with all that being said though, if you did go on to enjoy this video, like always, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let me know down below in the comments, did you guys enjoy this review? You know, what Lego builds you guys want to see me build and do an official in-depth review for. I've genuinely been enjoying doing these videos. It's a lot of fun. At the rate I'm going out, it'll probably come out about once or twice a month. We'll just see what we end up getting for Lego purchases and so on. So yeah, if you definitely want to get a build from that Return of the Jedi era, this is definitely one of those builds that you should definitely get. But yeah, with that being said though, if you did go on to enjoy this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button that pops up down here in the middle of the screen. Click on one of these 2 videos, and most importantly, I will see you guys in the next one. So see ya.